than Democrats, funding Mitt Romney more than
Mitt Romney.
Obama,
but look at hold up,
many times over.
Yeah, Mitt Romney. Because why? Because Dodd-Frank was already through. They already put that through a holes. They weathered Obama's storm. Obama's not going after the banks before he gets out of the presidency. They knew that. They had his chance to go after him, and after he sat him down in a room, said, I can go real hard on you guys. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm not gonna though. And then so everyone's there. They come out all chummy. They come out of the White House all chummy. Do a press conference. Everything's fine. Everyone's happy with the president. Everything's good. Everything's status quo. Everything's
look at the people he's
business as
supporting.
usual on Wall Street.
And so with the new regulations and the Financial Consumer Protection Bureau and all these new things that he created, they didn't like that. They didn't like the storm. They said, we want this to end, and they donated overwhelmingly to Mitt Romney and the Republicans.
Oh well. Here, let me pop your little bubble here, because I mean, that's true. Banks did go with Mitt Romney. I think there might have been one that actually went with Obama.
Don't you think that says something in and of itself?
Yeah, it says they already bought him. He's bought and sold. They want someone who's going to go even. I mean, yeah, Romney would have been. I'm sure Banks would have loved to have Romney over Obama. But it's not that big of a difference in reality. Because look, 2007, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee raised 4 times as much money from Wall Street as the GOP's Senatorial Campaign Committee.
Everybody was donating Democrats back then. They knew Democrats were going to win. They wanted to go with the winners.
Exactly. They're just gambling.
Yeah.
Either way, they bought them.
And they
won.
Like what
they bought them. Who's
our political system is corrupt. It's just it. It just is. That's all there is to it.
Man.
I'm saying plutocracy exists, but to criticize Barack Obama as bending over for the plutocracy, I just think is completely inaccurate.
I'm not criticizing
Barack
Obama.
Yes, it is inaccurate.
I'm criticizing our two-party system of government and the fact that both parties require campaign contributions from Goldman Sachs and Bank of America and J.P. Morgan Chase, and if they don't get them, you're definitely gonna lose. And you can say whatever you want to say. Oh, Barack Obama got more, but his Goldman Sachs was still his highest contributor. Still
during the first time.
But exactly, Joe.
Yeah, that was before.
But he was that was when they really needed it. That's why Wall Street was putting so much money in.
Yeah, they wanted to freshen him up.
All right, during the time of the bailouts, nearly a third of all campaign money going to chairs in the House and Senate committees that were in charge of monitoring the financial industry and the bailouts. Almost a third of that was from the financial industry. They're getting money. The people, and these are the chairs of the committees. These are the people who control like what goes in and what comes out of this committee.
Yeah,
what this committee
they're investing in power.
A third of their money, exactly.
It's totally messed up. I agree.
And you act like Obama's different. Look at his cabinet. He brought back in the people who caused the goddamn crisis. He brought back in Clinton's team.
So he brought in a balanced group of people, and they did a good job.
Where's the balance?
And for the people who he brought in,
where's the balance? Where's the balance? I see Wall Street on there. Where's Main Street? Where's Main Street in the Treasury?
Where's the balance of the scales of justice? Who's in jail? Who's not in jail?
Right. I mean, if I steal something that costs $5, I'm going to go to jail. You steal a couple $1 million off the top of a transfer. The mom's the word.
You smoke a joint.
That's why you went to Harvard, is so you can call that money earned.
Right. I'm just saying, it's not even a double standard. It's like a quadruple standard.
No, there really are. I mean,
it's making any damn sense.
Dude, we are really turning into a sort of like a feudal society almost.
This is an oligarchy. It really is.
Like now that the attorney generals have came out and blatantly said that these banks are too big to prosecute, too big to criminally prosecute, too big to jail, that basically black and white sets it up right there. We have 2 criminal justice systems in this country.
One for citizens and one for the banks.
Yeah, one for citizens,
one for bankers.
One for investment bankers, exactly.
And nobody's gonna do any real time. And the damage they do is okay. If I go out and I commit an armed robbery, that might have an impact on the life and the family of one individual. But if I'm a banker and I have credit the false swaps and destroy the economy of a country, that's millions of people that I'm impacting, and I'm not going to do half the time or any time at all that this person's going to do.
Getting someone on criminal charges requires proving intent.
when you have these internal emails.
It has been improved.
Internal emails in front of Congress. These Lloyd Blankfein lies in front of Congress, basically saying what you're reading in that email is not in that email. Like these.
I have an example.
It's a joke. If you really think you can't prove any intent, you should get a job with the Attorney General's office, man.
Well, hold on, but I was thinking about a different kind of banker.
Sitting
if you're going to talk
Brewer.
about them, and in that case, you have to ask, is that what mortgage fraud actually is? Because when they were selling these things, they were just pointing out that, hey, the ratings agency said these are really good, and they were.
There was a lot of mortgage fraud. I mean,
the system was terribly designed. I just don't think that throwing people in jail is how you solve it.
It is. It's saying, hey, you break the law, you're going to go to jail. It'd be like saying human nature's messed up, so we don't need laws against homicide because I don't see the point.
People in jail for something that wasn't explicitly
you throw
against
somebody
law.
and getting reamed in the jail, we're going to see a lot of end into a lot of this criminal derivatives trade.
You should create a deterrent by changing the law, not by changing the interpretation of law after it's already happened.
I need somebody to go to jail so I can get up and say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Because from now on out, I'm going to sit down. People around me standing up saying "Injustice for all."
You're a terrorist.
No way.
You're a terrorist.
I'm saying seated. No.
You can't do that. Your patriotism will be questioned.
Aaron Schwartz, guys. Aaron Schwartz. Aaron, you can steal $5 to go to jail. Aaron Schwartz didn't even steal anything from anyone. He downloaded files from a corporation. Did that corporation lose the files? No, they still had the files sitting there. He did not distribute the files, right? The Justice Department threw the book at him because he was at MIT hacking, having a little fun on a computer. Justice Department threw the book at him.
Spreading information for free. I mean, that's good stuff.
And
I used to use that when I was in college. Whatever
Justice for all. Whatever.
Yeah,
America,
but
whatever. I mean, and the whole time, this is one thing we haven't talked about. I mean, we're basically like the Treasury here, because the one thing we haven't talked about is homeowners and the foreclosure crisis. This is something that the Treasury never gave a shit about, even Hamp. This is what I'm gonna say. Obama, tool. No, I have no faith in Obama, especially after everything from healthcare reform to Dodd-Frank, everything since. No, he blew it. Like, Hamp was supposed to help, what do you say, 4 to 5 million homeowners. Who ended up helping? Like 400,000 or 500,000? Because they don't care about it. You know what Timothy Geithner said about it? He basically said that Hamp, the home, what is it called? The Home Affordable Protection Mortgage
Protection Act.
Yeah, which Timothy Geithner said that this was basically it was for the banks. Hamp was for the banks, not for the homeowners, for the banks. He said it was to foam the runway. His words, to foam the runway for the banks, because it would allow them to basically just to keep getting some I'm gonna choke somebody, man. Timothy Geithner, where you at? I got guillotine in here.
Closing remarks from Tez Reclam, and I just want to say justice for all. That is all.
Closing remarks. America, we gotta do better. We gotta stop letting these people control the people who are representing us. They're not representing us. They're representing the banks and the corporations. And as long as we are complacent about it and we don't make any noise and we just bitch about it amongst ourselves, we're not going to do any, not going to spark real change. We're just going to take us for what they can and run off with it. What they're going to do is they're going to take all of our money and all our wealth and go to Mars and leave us here with a fucked up planet.
All right, I want to go back to Hamp for a second before I make my closing remarks, because I always got to drag this out.
Of course.
I always drag, I always got something more to say.
It's about another
Bring
hour.
this back to Hamp. We got
Occupy bringing up the rear of society.
Anyway, Hamp. This is the program that's supposed to help homeowners. They spent $3 billion out of $50 billion that was put set aside for it by 2011. $3 billion out of 50, not even a tenth of the money. And here's what Hamp did. They had said, make modifications. It was supposed to have banks make modifications on these loans, and then that's too strenuous on the banks. So what do they do? So they say trial modifications. Trial modifications worked. And so a lot of them were 5 years. This is why we might be looking at the next phase of the housing crisis once these come up in the next 2 years. Because they base a lot of the trial periods were for 5 years. So they gave trial modifications. So all of a sudden 5 years, basically like an adjustable rate mortgage. All of a sudden it's going to jump back up. In, since it all started around, HEMP started 2009. So what, about 2014, 2015? We're probably going to, we might start seeing some of these same troubles again in the housing market.
See, but a lot of
all these people's mortgages are going to jump right back up because these are trial modifications. And as Geithner said, this is to foam the runway for the banks, to give them a little bit more buffer against, to prevent some foreclosures, to help the banks, enough to help the banks. But it's supposed to be for the people. This is what Congress wanted. This is what the president says.
So, but a lot of the people weren't educated by the program.
They don't care about the people.
I was an intern for Obama for America at the time, and I do. Now you're saying it comes back to me, but you know, it wasn't our responsibility to go out and tell a homeowner that this opportunity was available for them. They had to be educated and come to it on their own. You know, they had to find out for themselves. You know, nobody was calling them up. It was like, hey, there's this program that can help you out.
And here's the thing, too. If you read Neil Borofsky's book, the Special Inspector General of TARP, he was saying he was basically supposed to warn about fraud in TARP programs. And HEMP, I think, fell under his jurisdiction. So he warned the Treasury that there was all these potentials for fraud and that they should have a mass marketing campaign to basically do that, to tell the public what it is, to get the public ready to not get scammed like they eventually were. But what did Timothy Geithner shot it down? I mean, like, and what they kept saying, the head of TARP, pretty much almost everybody but SIGTARP wanted it shut down. And you know what they'd say is they said it'd be too burdensome on banks, and banks would walk away from the program.
And that's always
they're always scared. They're always bowing over for the banks, and that's the problem.
They want to make everything easy for the bank and everything hard for us.
Yeah,
we can't. We got to go out and get we can't even get a letter about it. Oh, you had your house is threatened by foreclosure. Well, this is program. You know, they should. You know, I get a call every day about trying to sign me up for a government health insurance, but you know, if I was a homeowner and I had an issue regarding my mortgage, you know, I'm busy trying to pay off the mortgage. I'm not reading the Wall Street Journal and shit.
For real, you're trying to get your banks. You're trying to refinance or something, and you got to send your bank. Yeah. You have to send during the a little bit after the crisis, people for modifications, they'd have to send on average 6 times each paperwork. Each time they have to send paperwork to the bank, they'd have to send an average of 6 times for the bank to get it. And even then, sometimes they still just wouldn't get it.
So it was like basically.
And like I saw a lot of this happening because when Occupy was going strong and we were occupying a lot of houses, like I mean we were in these houses with these people and there's stacks of documents and they're just seeing it.
So speaking of HEMP, I think it's important to point out the reason that program was created was to help out people who had underwater mortgages that they owed.
Supposed to be, but if they did, they would have reduced the principal
than what they had.
That's how you do it. You reduce the principal.
Right.
You don't modify the mortgage.
So the program was designed to incentivize banks who wanted to join the program to incentivize them to lower the principal.
No, it wasn't.
And then get help from it. That's what it was for. That's
they didn't lower the principal.
Did
they wanted to change they wanted to have a lower interest rate and a longer time to pay back the loan.
In the long run, they were going to get more money out of it.
Exactly. It wasn't lowering the principal, and even then, they making real modifications was too burdensome on the banks. So it was just all they needed.
So the banks are going to make more money, and it's going to look like they're doing.
All they needed was verbal trial modifications.
So a part of that was to refinance. I was aware that a part of that was also to lower the overall amount of debt. It was overall to restructure the deal.
People who were sensible said that. People who weren't, like Timothy Geithner.
No, well, here's the thing. The program wound up being weakly designed, but it was, and it was nowhere near enough. But it was designed to do something good. It just failed.
For the banks.
They didn't do anything.
No, it wasn't. It was
because if they wanted to help the people, they would have listened to Neil Borofsky when he was and the Inspector General when he was harassing them.
How many people took advantage of this? You say?
It was very poorly marketed.
Less than 500,000.
It
was supposed to be like 3 to 4 million at least, according to the president himself.
Well, only $1 million would have been.
$1 million would have been
a step in the right direction.
For real, I mean, like.
It just seems like if they really wanted to tackle the issue, they would have aggressively how much money does it cost to find people who's? I mean, politically, so many aspects. This was a benefit for opportunity for Obama to shine. This was an opportunity for the banks to
redeem themselves.
Exactly. I mean, but it seemed like they didn't want it. Nobody was really interested in helping these people.